Welcome back to Cold Cases. I'm Cayson.
I'm Rusty. We just drank 12 beers each, and we figured out exactly what happened to the Malaysian Airlines flight.
Let's see how these guys did it. So, before we get going, I'll set the scene. March 8th, 2014, Malaysian Airlines Flight 370 takes off from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and it is headed to Beijing, China. That flight never is seen or heard from again. 239 people unaccounted for, missing to this day. We're gonna figure out what happened. You guys ready?
Ready, man.
Let's do it. Let's get it.
All right, let's do it. All right, clue number one.
So, first step is to understand.
I mean, I don't want to make a theory before we even hear about it. Look at this guy's face.
That is pilot Zahari Shah.
Yeah, he flew it into the moon.
He flew
the plane into the moon. That's the face of, they go.
He's an experienced pilot.
They go, hey, big flight tonight. Let's get a photo. And he tried to look normal, and he was like, I know exactly what I'm going to do with this fucking thing.
That's the pilot, Zahari Shah. He was a very experienced pilot. This is the intended route. This is where it took off in Kuala Lumpur, and then you can see where it was supposed to end up in Beijing. And right around here is where it last made contact.
Okay, so
it was
almost immediately.
Almost
right away.
Within like an hour or two.
Like any good,
shut everything off.
like any good detectives, you know, no theories are bad theories.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, knee-jerk reaction. They took off, and then he got to about here, and then he put it into a vertical climb, and he flew it into Saturn. How did they lose contact with it?
What if he just turned off all the radios? What if he's like, I don't want to talk to these guys anymore. I'm going to do some bad stuff.
Right.
Let's just get this out of the way. It's
I
like
feel
when a guy's about to cheat on his girlfriend, he's like, I'm going to turn my phone off really
Oh,
quick.
you think he turned his snap maps off?
Yeah, exactly.
I flew a plane once.
I was in a pretty small plane.
Yeah.
If I wanted to make that thing disappear, would have been tough.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
You were in Denver.
You weren't trying to go to the moon.
I was in Denver, not Kuala Lumpur. I got a theory before we start this next beer. He went out to the bar. He was having a couple beers with a guy. A guy bet him that he couldn't fly to the moon. And he was like, turn on the news tomorrow. All right. Oh, awesome. Okay, more maps.
So that's a transcript of the last communication that they had.
KLATC, this is MH370, KL being Kuala Lumpur. MH370, please climb to flight altitude 250. MH37 is climbing to flight altitude 250. MH37 climbing flight altitude 350. This is MH37, flight altitude 350. MH370 remaining in flight altitude 350. Let me use 350 feet above the ground.
1,000.
Some guy on a paddleboard is like out like for a nice night thing.
Holy shit.
MH370, please contact Ho Chi Minh City 12090. Good night.
That's the last communication they have. All communication systems go dark. Based on a lot of things we know, it doesn't seem like this is something that has ever just happened before, right? So there is a high degree of a suspicion that it was manually done.
Okay, and
But
then he
couldn't have
does,
been done
and then he
manually.
does a U-turn.
Right.
As soon as he said goodnight, he whipped a Yui and he was like, I'm out of here.
Well, they don't have this is like an assumption based on the military radar picked him up here a little bit after that. So
Okay.
they know that he must have turned around and come back this way. Then they get what these things are called handshakes. It's from this, I don't know why they call it that, but it's like less reliable on like exact location.
Right.
But they're getting
General
little
direction.
pings
Kinda know where
over.
it is.
Yeah, they're getting little pings over the next like several hours.
Okay.
But the last like real communication they have is the last conversation here, everything goes dark, military radar picks it up here, and then that's pretty much it.
All right,
I have a theory quick here.
please.
On
I think
this
we're
one,
probably on the same page.
when they're talking, this entire conversation, the air traffic control is like, hey, you need to gain altitude. Go to 250, go to 275. It's like, oh, fucking bet. I can gain so much altitude.
Yeah.
You won't even believe it.
You think he was like, okay, this is like the general course he wants me on. The guy goes to bed. The
guy
and
doesn't
they
say
never
stop.
correct it.
He's like, good night.
All right, later.
He's never told me to stop going up.
All right, that's theory number one. I have a second theory
Hit
for
me.
you. Air traffic control is kind of like his parents, right? Second he says goodnight, like any kid who's ever snuck out knows. Good night is like, all right, I'm on my own.
I'm
He
good.
had other plans. He was like, fuck it, I'll make this guy think I'm good. The second he says goodnight, can't run into the Vietnamese stepmom, so what do?
Psych.
You go back into Malaysian airspace. So he whipped a Yui.
He's like, they're asleep, they won't know what I'm up to.
And he had some business. What that is, we don't know yet. But he had some business in the Malaysia area.
What if he just had some bros he wanted to go see? Where he's like, I'm gonna go to Chad's house.
Oh. Kind of on this vein, like we were talking about earlier, he's at the bar the night before, makes this claim. He's like, no one's gonna believe me. So he flies back over the bar and calls the guy, and he's like, look up.
Look above you
Look
right
up.
now.
There's just like a Boeing A380 just fucking.
He's probably still drunk too. I mean, look at that face.
All right, tell me who did it.
I think they're gonna start to get better here. The beers, not.
Oh, I was like, what a shot at our like game master.
No.
Dude, these clues.
I would
take it.
No, I fear that Rusty's not going to say you're doing a great job after these pictures. I still think you're doing a great job.
Oh, thanks, dude.
When I printed these, he goes, I was like, I already know. He said, was this the first photo ever taken?
I'm only to surmise. I assume it's like some sort of plane machinery behind him. It looks kind of like a bar, like a Buffalo Wild Wings.
Right.
I assume this is the airport bar before he took off.
Dude, he's at the Buffalo Wild Wings of planes. It's for like those guys with autism that are like obsessed. They go in. It's the most monitors you've ever seen with every flight taking off in the world.
Top Golf, like you get a bay.
That's so sick, actually.
Should we put? I feel like this is definitive evidence that he was.
Yeah, at a bar. Also, a Top Golf, but with flight simulators. This is a sick idea.
Yeah, like you get like food and drinks delivered to your bay.
Unreal, dude.
Wait, can I tell you what that actually is though?
Yeah.
They found a flight simulator in his house.
Flight simulator?
And on the flight simulator, he had flown this route. So the brighter one is what a lot of people think that the plane did. The darker line there is the path of the flight simulator that he had in his house, where he had gone out, cut over, and just shot down.
Where
into
did
the
he?
Indian
This
Ocean.
is the ocean. He just ended in the ocean.
That's just the middle of the Indian.
Wait. Did he like?
This is where search efforts have largely focused in the last decade.
Have they tried there?
I don't. I guess probably yeah.
Have you guys played any flight simulator?
Like once. It was so fucking hard.
It's not hard for me because I know how to do it.
Right.
One thing that often happens to me, I like to indulge when I play a little flight simulator. I get a little high. Sometimes you forget about the plane and you like leave the room and you come back and it's just like cruising somewhere.
So that might have been what he did.
That's what I'm saying. Is there a world
yeah.
where he like flew it, left the setup, like dinner was ready or something, and it like flew over there, and it was just like a really bad mistake. It was a really bad coincidence that like it kind of mirrored
It's
a similar.
possible, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
That's actually kind of a good point because it is a very straight line.
you know what I mean? Like the
Flight
open
simulator.
ocean on Flight Simulator is like the most boring thing in the world. Like I was kind of joking when I started this theory, but like there's a world where he took off. He was like, I do this flight a lot. Like let's get some reps in.
His boys hit him up. Was like, hey, we're gonna go to Chili's tonight. He's like, all right, I have to go. I can't miss this.
Forgot to pause it.
Yeah.
That's not even a joke theory. That's just
put
a
it
real.
up. Put it
I
up.
like that.
I like it.
Yeah.
Also, what kind of a nerd pilot was like? After I'm done at my day job as a pilot, I'm gonna go home and be a pilot again.
If you're a pilot, you love to be a pilot. Like it's one of those jobs where like you took that job because it's something you're passionate about.
But don't you think he'd rather like spend time with his wife and kids?
Apparently not.
What if he saw during the simulator? He saw something. He's like, "There's no way that's actually there." And then the plane, he's like, "You know what? I have to check this out for myself."
Wait, say it one more time.
Like
then when
when
he's
he's
like
the Loch Ness Monster or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When he's on an actual flight, he's like, "Holy shit! I'm gonna go check this out myself." Great opportunity.
New theory, probably a throwaway theory. You guys can tell me you hate it. He's out on a fishing trip. He drops something off the boat.
Like his phone.
I don't know. It floats. Something valuable that floats. You can fill in the gaps. He goes to
$100
check.
balloon.
He goes to check it out on Microsoft Flight Simulator, and he's like, "It's super valuable. Like I gotta go get it." So
It's kind of on the way.
He was like, they'll never know. He was like, we'll do a quick water landing. It's a red eye. Everyone's asleep.
Everyone's asleep anyways.
Everyone's asleep. I'll fucking land that thing like glass on a shoe slipper. Gets one of the rafts, pops out, go grab it.
back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you letting this happen?
All right,
You know I despise you for coming up with this format, right?
dude. I was thinking about this. Like, if this was 8 beers, it'd actually be like pretty enjoyable.
It was 8 beers. That's what we call Tuesday night, brother. Come on.
Tuesday night.
Tell me about it. The captain of Flight 370 was in no state of mind to fly the day it disappeared and could have taken the Boeing 777 for last joyride before crashing in the Indian Ocean, a fellow pilot said. That's sick. That's badass. Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah's world was crumbling, said the longtime associate. He'd been facing serious family problems, including separation from his wife and relationship problems with another woman he was seeing. Ooh.
We got a player on our hands. Come on.
He hits up Buffalo Wild Wings. He cheats on his wife. He gets drunk and flies planes.
He's a guy.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, going on a last joyride is kind of sick.
Here's a comparison for you. Are we all familiar with Sky King?
The guy who, there's a radio call between a guy who hijacked a plane. He's gonna crash.
Keep hijacked and Sky King in the same sentence out of your fucking mouth.
I'm pro Sky King. Hijacking's not a bad thing.
We can deduce from that there is some urge in people with mental health issues that would be a proven way to go out. He realizes that his wife knows about his mistress, or he had problems with his mistress?
I think both. His wife was leaving him and he had problems with his mistress too. So both of his options were gone.
Right, and anyone who has a mistress knows, you have a mistress to have options. So now you go from having...
I wouldn't know firsthand, but...
Right. I wouldn't either.
Go for it.
But I'm saying...
Willie?
Yes.
All right, Willie would know.
Okay, Willie knows.
Yeah.
Willie. Okay, so you go from having 2 options to 0. All you got is your steed, your flight simulator, and this airport, or this Buffalo Wild Wings for planes.
Yeah.
He would have to recruit a ragtag group of guys that were I don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah, at least in my research, there's no ragtag group of guys.
Well, that theory's pretty much gone.
Cool.
I miscounted. I thought we were doing 2. Did 1 already.
Have we drank 5 beers?
Yes.
Awesome.
I feel good. I feel like we're kind of in the pocket right now.
I felt that way last time too, and then I looked up and was not there anymore. Oh, awesome. More maps.
I think we should buckle down because this is when we do our best work.
You're a straight shooter. Is it going to be mostly maps?
There's a lot of maps.
So Willie, break down what we're looking at right now.
So this is where wreckage of the plane has been found.
Oh, what?
3 of these, yes.
Oh, so we know it crashed.
Well, otherwise, if you take this at face value, then yes. So these are the only ones that are confirmed by the Malaysian authorities that said these are actually definitely from the plane. The rest are likely from the plane.
All right, you ready, Cayson?
Hit me.
We're talking 6 places. We got the wing flap landed in Tanzania, allegedly. These are all allegedly.
Yeah.
Madagascar, the cabin interior panel. The flapperon was found in Reunion Island.
That was the first piece found, was the flapperon. Flapperon.
It feels like kind of a throwaway piece.
They found the beverage cart.
We got the beverage cart was found, and let me just say, most likely not reported to authorities because those guys were having a grand old time.
Reunion Island.
The engine cowling was found in South Africa, and the horizontal stabilizer plus flap track fairing were found on Mozambique Beach.
This might be a dumb question.
Yeah.
Do planes float?
Yeah, they float if you land them right.
So
But pieces that fly off will still be on the
if
surface.
you ever seen Sully?
Yes.
So that's the only water landing that I know of in a plane of that size. So it could float indefinitely, but if there's any puncture, I think it. Oh! Wait, I have a. What? You put your hands up? I have a theory.
Yeah.
Sit down. I need to tell
Does
you
it
this.
involve Jared from Subway?
Yeah, no, it involves Sully. Here's my theory. Sully fucking nails the landing in the Hudson in 2009.
Yeah.
He's now propelled into stardom and fame. He can go do talks and make all this fucking money. He's writing books, he's selling movies, whatever. This guy, his life's falling apart. He's like, I gotta make a big move to make I don't need both of them, I just need one of these women to stay. He's like, I'm gonna fucking go out into the Indian Ocean, gonna slowly make my way down and fucking butter the landing. Everyone's saved. We get out, I sign a book deal, I get one of my women back. I get to keep paying my payments on the flight simulator. I'm writing books about it, and then I'll write, what's the word?
Novel.
Memoirs.
No, second book. Sequels.
Second
I'm writing
draft.
sequels. I'm writing trilogies. Tom Hanks is playing you in a movie about saving 100,000 souls. But here's the thing. Sully's already been sold as a book. So he goes, we need to take it, like any good sequel, we need to take it up a notch. He goes, if I land near shore, they're gonna do it, whatever. We need a like Coast Guard savior. He turns off all the things. That's why they lost communication. He turns off all the shit.
Does Malaysia have a Coast Guard?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know.
They got everything, dude. I think.
Who gives a fuck?
Dude, no, speaking of that,
In my school is obsessed with BJ Raji.
how much you've been there? Obsessed with DJ?
Come on.
Why'd you go with him?
We went to high school.
You had a glass in
What, man? I love BJs. That's all we've been talking about.
Yeah.
I love the way they feel on my body. Worst two guys at the bar.
Heyo.
What's your favorite part about BJs?
Favorite part?
Why I was more
Finish it.
That would be funny if you walk past. You were going to the bathroom. You walk past two
yeah.
guys at the bar. Like, dude, what's your favorite part about BJs?
The way it tastes.
Getting them, giving them, eating them.
All right.
Before I hand you this manila envelope, I want to just let you do it because I do enough yelling at Will. Feel the weight of this thing, and here's the deal: if you are off the hook, if there is more than 3 sentences of valuable information in here.
Holy
Wait, there's something else in there. There's something else in there.
There's something else?
Yeah.
Wait, Cayson.
But I can kind of summarize.
Guess what it
for
is. Guess what it is.
Is it a map?
It's a map.
All right, I'm just gonna read the headline. I assume this is the only thing you want us to read. What I found on the secretive tropical island they don't want you to see.
So this is a BBC profile on the island of Diego Garcia. This is a UK-US joint top secret military base.
This is a UK-US joint.
And basically what this article details is how much trouble they had like dealing with the US government and getting access and
Right.
like being able to cover this because
The
it's
U.S. government's notoriously easy to deal with.
super secretive.
The name of the island's Diego Garcia.
Yeah.
All right, and this
It's like a shortstop for the Astros.
this means
It's just a really, really top secret US base and that's
So
where it's located.
what do we use it for?
It's secret. It's the
know.
whole thing.
Come on, man. You're getting pretty famous. You know what we do over there.
I can't tell you.
So Willie, what? Fill
Listen.
in the blanks here for us.
It could be nothing. It's just been the subject of speculation that like where that plane was flying, there was pretty much nothing.
Except.
Except there
Right.
was this highly protected military base.
So it is military.
Yes, yeah, I said that.
Well, I said,
Yeah,
what do we use it for? And you're, I don't know.
Correct. Military.
I think
Okay.
I think I've had my fill of this.
So there's some sort of lagoon in the middle?
Lagoon.
Have we considered, you know,
It's an atoll, I think. Isn't that what they call that?
Hey, Willie?
I'm kind of the geography guy, so if you just...
Yeah, sorry.
All right. So there's some sort of toll or lagoon here.
Legume?
Lagoon. There's a lot of
So what,
beans.
big bean?
A lot of beans here. All right. I got a theory. There is this paradise lagoon in the middle of the ocean. We're talking the hottest babes. We're talking the coldest beers. We're talking all the top military officials, all the guys you want to be rubbing elbows with.
Nice.
He doesn't know that it's controlled by us. So he just sees that this is the one corner of the world that's untouched.
Yeah.
He can have, his life will be great forever. And so he's like, I'm gonna just fucking, like, fuck them. I don't care about any of these Malaysian people. I'll just get rid of like 200 of them. And we're gonna land it here. I'm gonna swim to this lagoon and I'll live on coconuts and all this stuff forever. Do we feel like that?
I don't hate it. But like if he was on like a
kind of feels like you hate it.
but like if that was the case, why wouldn't he just like take a ship there or buy some sort of a boat?
The only way he could get out of his, sick and twisted double marriage is to use his job as a way where, like, okay, there was a plane crash, your husband's dead. He's not.
That's pretty sick. My only qualm, I don't want to keep poking holes in your
Right.
theories because I do love that theory. I think it's great.
Right.
My only qualm is that if he did have access to a plain Buffalo Wild Wings at home,
Right.
and he's not confirmed that there's the exact same establishment on this deserted island.
That's a good point.
There's really no incentive for him to go there.
Okay, let me answer your question with another question.
Go for it.
What kind of technology do you need to build a Buffalo Wild Wings for planes? You need screens. You need chairs. You need carpet. You need all the things that are
gonna
already on the plane
Build his own.
that you can salvage
Wait,
later.
you need a beverage card though, don't you?
You need a beverage card. It's already on there.
this guy rock. Every time I think that I'm not on this guy's side, he comes back around. We're talking more nips, the drink, than you could shake a stick at. He's like, we got everything.
Same vibe.
Can I poke a hole in my own theory?
Please do.
How do you get rid of the other like 200 guys? Because then you got a mutiny on your hands.
I have one idea, but I know it's not my job.
Please.
He brings them all into the cockpit, like a DJ booth style.
All right, VIPs up here. Wear something tight.
It seems like cheating, but that's a great theory.
I've always thought the only issue with this series is if you can't solve it by 8, you're probably not going to solve it by 12. You might think
your best ideas come between 10 and 12, I think.
Right.
Like, after 10 or 12 years, you're thinking maybe not clearly, but you're finding the truth pretty quick.
Right.
Pretty quick.
Let's do it.
I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Willy, I feel like this is the first time I'm like, I think we're getting somewhere.
Where
I
did
think
we
that
land on JFK?
Lee Harvey and Oswald, there's 3 different guys. Which I think actually is probably what
pretty
happened.
True, yeah. That was 2, by the way.
Cayson, you're not gonna
Impossible to read.
You're not gonna believe what he gave us.
Is it another map?
Another map.
Oh, sick. All right, I have an email here. Gentlemen, I believe I saw the Malaysian plane come down. The timing is right. I tried to contact the Malaysian and Vietnam officials several days ago, but I do not know if the message has been received. I am on the oil rig Songa Merkur off Vau Tang. The service location of the observation gives us latitude, longitude.
What is it?
It's this.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
right there.
I observed the plane burning at a high altitude and on a compass.
Like physically burning, you think, Willie?
Yeah.
It was re-entering the atmosphere after it went to space. It's the only explanation for it to be burning.
No one gets us. I'm telling except for us. I'm telling you. When we go to the news, they're gonna go, those guys are fucking nuts. But we need to stand our fucking ground. It's burning.
What? What's his name? Huang Ko Chu
No,
Di.
that's the subject. His name is Mike McKay.
So close. So close.
Just a guy on an oil rig.
We saw a burning plane, basically.
Right.
Do we know if anyone else has confirmed this?
No, he's the only one that saw it.
All right, cool. Take it as
But
fact.
it was the middle. It was like
I think you saw a shooting star, possibly?
They happen like once in fucking every 100 years.
A shooting star happens like every night.
How would you wouldn't figure it out? You just figure out that guy was wrong.
You're talking about a comet?
No, I'm just. You guys used to be nice to me. Cayson, break it down for me. So Mike McKay did what? Mike
McKay, oil worker in Vietnam, somehow named Mike McKay, sees a burning plane in the sky.
He tried to contact the Malaysian and Vietnam officials several days ago, but I do not know if the message has been received.
Guess what? Mike McKay got fired from his job.
Yeah, for knowing too much, man. But here's the thing. Wait, really?
Yeah.
Who did he email this to?
I think he sent it out to the whole company, and that's why he got fired.
His oil company?
Oh, what?
Here's what I will say that is why they might have dismissed it is look at where he was.
Right? So he was
That's
right.
like right around where they had their last contact.
Wait, what?
Yeah, like where that is around where like the U-turn was by the military.
Oh! Okay.
So if that is what he saw over here, then what the hell got pinged over
Willie,
here?
3 was detected by like a military radar.
Yes.
That could be anything. That could be a plane.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were able to establish that it was that plane.
How? The only confirmed ones we know that were the plane are 1 and 2.
Yes.
3 is just a radar that goes around and detects that there's an object there. And they deduce that that was probably that plane because it was the only thing in the area. If you've ever like seen a plane movie, you know that like one wing is gonna like drastically change the plane's trajectory. This guy, he's the only guy that can keep it in the air long enough to get to point 3. So that's why they did the thing. So he did see the fire here because there's no light pollution. He saw the only light in the sky. It does a hard left because like something horrible happened and it like had to fucking bank left. And then last contact is at 3 because the plane crashed short thereafter. How the remains got to the eastern coast of Africa? Who knows, man?
Shut up, nerd. You wouldn't know we're going through it. Hey, you're the dick.
It's like the last good one.
You know, earlier we asked like when do we become dicks? Apparently it's the 8th. The 8th beer.
Apparently 9's super heavy.
9 become sweethearts.
Yeah, 9 you start kissing.
We can become perfect.
All right.
Wait, 1 second.
Thank you. God.
Wait.
Oh, look.
All right.
How does this keep happening?
Anyways, map. It's a map, and the only dot is P.U. Butterworth.
P.U. Butterworth is like a medieval burn.
EU Butterworth is an Malaysian Air Force base.
Dude, this is insane. He didn't accept.
That wasn't on the website, woman.
Accept his
I want the viewers at home. I want the viewers at home to know.
Will just didn't accept the cookies.
He could have rejected it.
The gist of this article.
Well, can I ask you a
They
question? Will?
detected the Malaysian Airlines flight way west of where it was supposed to be at that third ping, and they had a full base of jets and stuff. And if they'd mobilized them, they probably would know what happened. And they just didn't do anything.
Are they know where these flights are coming from? Or
They tracked and they said that.
there are tens of thousands of flights going across the world every day.
Correct.
Couldn't they just be like, oh, maybe you guys running late or something?
Yeah, I mean it was just incredibly far west of the route. Like he had never.
No, I know, but they don't. I don't think they have the.
They know what flight it is. The point being is it's something that probably should have been flagged.
So-
and they had jets that could have mobilized. And,
Willie, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Are you, and I think we are already heading down this track, but are you trying to instill some sort of distrust in the Malaysian government between Cayson and I?
I mean, I think that this would be a pretty open and shut, boring evening if you didn't have some level of distrust for what the government was doing.
No, we already have it. I'm
Yeah.
just asking, as someone who's done the research, is that a path worth going down?
Yeah.
Cayson,
I don't know.
Tell me you don't trust the government?
I mean,
I trust ours, specifically the current regime, but I think it's the cookies are on every page.
Yeah.
There's just a huge chunk of information missing on every page. I was just gonna say, do you know how like demeaning it is to just like
I just have to.
I know, but we're doing this for you and like
I'm not, it's not like a make-a-wish.
why don't you get in here and drink 12?
I don't want to.
Thank you.
You guys think I'm cool?
New Malaysian Airlines Flight MH1370 cyber hijack theories emerges after vulnerabilities found in an in-flight system. You want to just explain what happens in here?
Did you read that though?
Yeah.
The words?
Did the guy write this in the 1930s?
Maybe if I don't do it in a newsy accent.
Who's the author?
I thought you'd be like, whoa.
Philip Ross. New Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 cyber hijack theory emerges after vulnerabilities found in in-flight systems.
So there's a top security advisor from the UK, and she claims that
She?
Yes.
I'm just joking.
She claims that the system that the plane was using was pretty new and relatively basic and might have been vulnerable to some sort of like remote cyber hijacking thing. The FAA came out and said, there's no way. But there's this guy, if you look in this thing under here, this guy Hugo Tesso at this hacking conference, he did this whole presentation about how he was able to hack a plane
And
from
fly
his
it
phone.
remotely?
Yeah.
It's like, it's
That's
kind of
his
like if I,
Twitter
but I think what
There is some people- yeah.
So Hugo did it with plain software.
Yeah, not with an actual airplane. He presented at a hacking conference as like, we should fix this.
I'm just saying like, a lot easier said than done. Like some guys talk about it, some guys be about it.
Why would you hijack a plane and just go in the ocean though?
Or what if they did?
Do something cool though.
Maybe back to our original theory, there was a guy, he gets access to the plane, and then he gets distracted by something else, dinner's ready, he's high, whatever, and he leaves.
Oh, he had it on his phone?
Yeah, he like
a full passenger plane?
He had it, he had some like, crazy attack planned.
God damn it. No. Fuck, I was aiming for the coolest place. God damn.
I just think if it was gonna happen, it would have happened and we would have caught it.
Counterpoint, if they knew that someone remotely hijacked this plane and flew it somewhere, would they be like, oh, here's what happened?
Yes. Or maybe not.
Because then they wouldn't want people.
What do you want me to say? You're right. You're right.
They likely wouldn't be exactly broadcasting that
They would
information.
want to know that they know what happened. Because the fact that they have no idea what happened makes them almost look worse.
I think that might be leading theory in the clubhouse. There was a cyber attack. Malaysia was like, we learned from our mistakes. We're gonna patch these. We'll make sure it never happens again. But conveniently enough, this guy loves getting around.
Loves getting around.
We'll pin it on this pilot and we'll make it be like the greatest mystery of all time.
But at the same time, I still kind of like the theory of him just being kind of a rad dude and wants to go to a cool island.
Well, I think
and
too,
make
I
his
think-
own Buffalo Wild Wings.
Right.
You know what? Retract everything I said. Throw away everything I just said. I'm totally on board with you. This guy did it.
Cayson.
Yeah.
Sometimes two things happen simultaneously, and it's a beautiful moment. And the Malaysian government was like, "Oh, perfect."
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it was a happy coincidence. They were like, "We were gonna get him anyways because he had a mistress." Turns out he's
Lee Harvey Oswald was the perfect guy for the government to like pin the assassination on. This is the perfect guy to pin the or plane crash on. But this guy actually did it. He just did it on his own.
No, but
it was
I'm
a
saying-
big coincidence that he actually like wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And they're like, holy shit, that was the guy we were gonna
But
pin
the-
this
the
on
government-
the entire
Yeah,
time.
like imagine they wanted to kill JFK and then like one day Lee Harvey Oswald, like they prepped him as an asset and they wanted to kill JFK and then one day he just shot JFK.
Wow, perfect.
They're like, oh shit.
Fucking wet.
Yeah.
No skin off my back, brother.
All right, I think we're off to a pretty good clip. Can I throw the rest of this out?
Yeah.
Are you glad?
Recycle.
All right. And
Are you glad
his
you?
name is Zahir.
No, it's a horrible waste of ink.
Are you glad you did this?
Not proud of much I've done.
I simultaneously feel like this is the closest we've gotten, and the furthest we'll ever be away from it.
Well, what
feel
about
like we're-
Clue 10? Dude? This
we were-
might rock your world.
We're way
dream-
closer 7 beers ago, to be honest.
My dream is like one of these days the clue is just like, oh, we figured it out, and like here it is, and then you don't have to drink the last couple ones. You guys, if like anyone else was behind this thing, I would just be like, I don't want to do this.
Was that 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank God.
I feel like beer 10 is when you kind of get a little bit ornery.
All right, this is a fun one. I think you guys are gonna like
Dude,
this.
you're never gonna guess what it is.
Map.
Yeah, it's a map.
So this is those handshake pings.
Yeah.
The way these pings work, they don't tell you where it is. They tell you how far it is from the satellite, which is here. It means that it's this far from here. So it exists anywhere in this circle that is based on how far it is from the satellite.
Right.
So that means that while everyone is assuming that it went down this way, in theory, they would have had enough fuel to make it north into Kazakhstan.
What do you want us to get out of this?
That there's a possibility it would not align with where the wreckage was found and like that, but if you said that was planted or whatever, in theory, the pings on the aircraft could mean that it flew.
Oh, here's a shot in the dark. We're going to where? We're going to Beijing.
Yeah,
Beijing is part of what country, Willie?
China.
China is famously a what country?
Asian.
Come on. In terms of communist country. You are not. Are you allowed to leave China? Because that would poke a hole. Okay.
I thought they would find a plane if it landed on land, correct?
Well, it's also like,
Or no?
is there a possibility that the Malaysian government went and scattered parts later for them to find? Probably not. So, I think honestly we learned nothing from this.
All right, it's a New York Times article. I assume it's 10 pages.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read the headline. This is July 17th, 2014. Jetliner explodes over Ukraine, struck by missile, officials say.
4 months after that flight goes missing, Malaysia Airlines Flight 17 is shot by a Russian missile.
With another Malaysia Airlines.
Same airline. but I
Here's
figured
here's the
I'd
thing.
tell you.
It's like you know, you ever wave a baby in front of a pit bull. It's like if you wave a baby in front of a pit bull, it's gonna like bite it every once in a while.
Dude, if you leave
Where-
the baby in a crib next, like with the pit bull like 100 yards away, the pit bull's gonna kill the baby. I want that.
What I'm more saying is like,
You only get shot down if you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
so what were they doing, Willie?
They were flying over a conflict zone in the Russian.
Were they
border.
where they were not supposed to be?
I guess not. They weren't supposed to be shot down, put it that way. They were supposed to be able to fly over there, but it was
But were they supposed
a
to be
dicey
there?
area. I'm not entirely sure if that was exactly on the flight.
All right, new theory. You guys ever heard of the Titanic? Do you know?
Movie or the
Just fucking
ship?
be real with me. An interesting theory about the Titanic was the Rockefellers sank it on purpose for like insurance money. I'm not saying it's the same thing, but I'm saying what if there's a guy who's controlling Malaysian Airlines where he's like, let's do a little bit of like, market manipulation, perhaps maybe an insurance fraud.
scheme here, and his thought is, I'm gonna, do some sort of hostile takeover, and then once everything cools off, like I think there's still a real airline, there's still like an
They actually
airline.
got nationalized, so they were. This could support your theory actually. They were in such bad shape that they had to basically sell themselves to the federal government, and they're now an entity of the Malaysian government.
So they were originally with the government, Willie.
Yeah, they had left and got private.
All
They go back.
So they left. What if when they went private, the government was like, "Fuck that, we need that." They tanked the stock price by either converting. What's his name?
Zahir?
Zahari Shah.
They either recruit Zahari Shah to do it, or they hacked into it themselves, crashed the plane, and then they were like, okay, that seems like a fluke, let's do it again. They had the Ukraine shoot them down, and they're like, all right, now they're forced to sell it to us, they get it, and now it's back owned by the government.
Rusty, I'm still on board of guy divorces his wife. His mistress left him.
No, I just pitched you the greatest idea of all time.
Yeah, it went it went in one ear and then out the other.
No, but this is the only thing that is kind of makes sense so far. Malaysia Airlines was originally owned by the government. They went private. They own it themselves. The Malaysian government realized they needed that money.
Yes,
and
they crashed all the planes.
And so in order to get it back,
drop the price, bought it back.
Exactly.
They have it. Yes. Okay. I'm on your side now.
as far as I'm concerned, this is the first time where I'm like, that actually makes sense.
Before we finish 12, obviously, to all the people who died, whatever we say is in pursuit of the truth. We're not trying to make light of anything that happened in the past.
Look down the barrel of the gun. Hey, Anderson Cooper, when this is the real thing, I want you to have to show this clip. That we were the guys that figured it out. That you couldn't get in there with your pretty hair and your pretty face. You couldn't get in there and fucking figure it out. You had to hire the real guns, the fastest guns in the West.
Can't leave my phone.
Can I piss real quick?
All right, last clue. You're done with the beers. Just gotta drink it. Eat it. Read it.
All right, why are missing Malaysian Airlines passengers' phones still ringing?
In the days after the flight went missing, people were calling and they were still getting like the. But some people
landed on the island.
Did it.
Also,
That's the
there
only
was one daughter of someone on the plane claimed that she got a phone call from her dad a few days after it went missing.
What do you mean she claimed? Did it happen or not?
I mean, she says it happened. She didn't video it.
Sorry, what were you gonna say by the time it happened?
By the time she went to answer it, it like hung up.
So, here's the question. Even corrupt, terrible political officials are still human, right? They're like, we need to tank the stock price, but it's fucked up to kill 239 people, and if we get caught, whatever. So what if it's a combination of the two? All right, so Zahari Shah, his life's going to the shit. The Malaysian government knows this. They go, hey man, like you're gonna lose both your ladies, possibly your flight simulator. Malaysia, the country, realized they needed the revenue that the airline was bringing in. They should have never privatized it. They go, you want out, we want in on the Malaysian Airlines company. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna fake a plane crash, whatever, disappearance. They fly right through Indonesian airspace. The Indonesians famously sleepy people.
But I think this guy still looks guilty. I feel like we've forgotten about this guy. Malaysia as a country definitely plays a part in this. I think they paid him off. They saw that his life was crumbling and like, hey, guess what? We're gonna give you $1 million.
And the sweetest setup you've ever seen.
We're gonna fill that plane with the hottest women you've ever seen. Hold them in your cockpit. Oh. All right.
They do a Sully-esque landing near Diego Garcia, which is still a hilarious name.
You're gonna swim to shore.
Oh, and then their phones still work.
Dude, the guy's daughter's phone still works. Guess what? She was partying at a Buffalo Wild Wings.
All I'm saying is, if you're the Malaysian government and you're out there and you're going, we got off scot-free, I got 2 guys hot on your scent. Hot.
Look out, we're coming for you. We're coming for you.
The second major of the season is here, and with BetMGM, you can bet on golf with an offer you won't find anywhere else. This second chance, you will get your stake back in cash if your tournament winner pick comes in second. Also, if you have not signed up for BetMGM yet, be sure to use bonus code FBYT and receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your first bet loses.